right, it is time to dive into 21 days of prayer for your business study. Are you excited? Okay, let's talk about the book really quick. 21 days of prayer for your business. Just some basic observations. First, does it have to be for people's businesses?
No, it's pretty much for people's life. We get this feedback all the time. People go through the study and they're like, I was praying for my business and it just impacted all the areas of my life.
Right. And so, okay, first, if you don't have a business, if you're just wanting direction in any area or aspect of your life, just apply it to life. I think you're going to get a lot from it. So don't let the word business in the title throw you for a loop. The next thing is 21 days. Let's talk about that for a second. 21 days. What is another thing that people get hung up on?
I started in day one and it took me more than one day to do it. And then by the time I got to day 5, I was already 10 days in, so I just gave up.
Yeah. And so I would like to say this is 21, if I could retitle this, 21 ways to pray for your life. There you go. There you go. I think that just fixes every issue that we always...
So just pretend that it's 21 ways to pray
for your life. The next thing is that if you don't have the book, don't worry about it. Listen, if you want the book, we would love for you to get the book. We'll drop a link in the description. But we're going to be discussing kind of each chapter. We're going to be going through the chapter ourselves daily and then discussing it here. I mean, there might be some parts that we leave out. But if you want the book, we'll drop it below. We want you to watch the videos whether you have the book or not. If you want
But stick around to the end. We're going to give you some homework and we'll tell you how to get the first chapter for free.
Yes. You can get the first chapter and the intro for free. Okay, so here's the deal. In this video, we are going to be discussing just the intro of this book. And we're going to be talking a lot about seasons, just seasons of life. Now, if you do have the book, we really don't go into that part of it much. We're going to be talking about that in this particular video. And then again, at the end, we are going to be talking about homework that we're going to give you. I am one that loves, Jeremiah says I'm a little bit bossy.
A little bit.
But I will tell you, in the book and in these videos, I am going to get a little bit nosy-rosy and up in your business and ask you a lot of questions, because I think one of the cool things in the feedback that I've gotten through the years with this book is that, I mean, people, the aha moments that they had was really not from words that I was saying, unfortunately, and epic writing skills in the book. It really was from their moments of journaling. Because I do ask a lot of questions and I want you to apply it to your life. And I really think that's when the Lord, as you're journaling through it, He's like dropping things. So really it's the Lord who is speaking to people.
But it's almost like the more you put into it, the more you get out of it.
Yeah.
So if you really, kind of step outside your comfort zone a little bit and do some of the exercises, it's almost like you get more out of it that way.
Yeah, on our way here to actually video this, we were even praying like, Lord, give us the words to say, strike words from our remembrance that we're not supposed to say. But most importantly, speak to people through whatever we say and through whatever you're writing or you're processing through. Like, we want the Lord, you and Him, to have some moments. And so obviously, Jared's going to probably get mad that I share this, but obviously the Lord struck the whole first video. We videoed for 20 something minutes. And
in my defense, I pressed the button, but apparently it was already videoing. So when I pressed the button, it just stopped the video.
Oh my word. His exact words were, I quit YouTube.
My first time, I quit before I even uploaded a video.
It's like, I quit. I'm like, no, babe, don't quit. I think that's actually a chapter in the book. We're going to go there. But
don't give up.
Don't give up. We'll discuss that in a future video. But anyway, we are super excited to walk through this together with you. My name's Monique, and I wrote this book about 6 years ago, and this is my husband, Jeremiah. And we did videos actually after we wrote the book and we released it. we rented a beach house for a month, and there were no distractions. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
Unlike this neighborhood that we are currently in.
Yeah, y'all, oh my gosh. This is epic. Like, seriously, the stories that we're going to have from this.
But it won't be boring.
It will not be boring. There's no telling what you're going to see drive by or who comes by.
If you get tired of us talking, just
watch the
see
surrounding
what's
people.
going on. Yeah. It's cool.
But we were at this beach house, and there was no distractions. The only thing that I had to do was get up and film the video in the morning, and then literally walk and pick up seashells the rest of the day. It was super glorious.
Let's go there when we're done.
We have got way too much to do. So that is kind of a good leadway into walking through the study. You know, Jer, I'm so excited to have him doing this series with us, because we're departing, we're adventuring, we're embarking. It took me a second to get the right word, but we are embarking on an adventure together. And we are super excited about it. And we were like, you know, before we ever start anything, we're like, let's devote prayer. And we'll, again, discuss that later in our time together. But that brought this idea to walk through the video with other people. We were going to walk through it personally, but we were like, man, this is a great season of our lives, of where we're at, to walk through it with other people. So how is this season a little different?
It's completely different, like 100% in almost every way.
Yeah.
You know, when 6 years ago we were in a really successful business, doing really well. I mean, you could say you're on the mountaintop, you know, you're just, everything's great. And so there was that. And not only in that, we, you know, at that time of our lives, we had teenage girls. But so now, different season, they're married, they have babies. So now, instead of us sort of being at the pinnacle of life, almost, it felt like, and our kids being teenagers and sort of finding their way, now we're in a transition phase. We've kind of said, you know, that door is closed, and we've
closed of the business.
Yeah. And now we're, you know, trying to do something new, and our kids are married. They've got grandbabies, so now we've got babies running around. We're like Momo and Pop's nursery, preschool, whatever.
It's crazy. It's like, did you get the pasties? What size diaper did you get? This? Did you? It's like, it is chaos. And you hit on, though, the successful business that we were at. About 2 years ago, we stepped away from that business, which was an insane decision. It was one that was super hard, but it was also a very relational driven business. And so with that, one decision kind of unleashed hell's fury, it felt like, in our life for a season. And we have been navigating that, walking through that. You know, some things changed financially, relationally. We were joking before we did the video. We're like, we know that we felt like we heard from the Lord, like that this is what we're supposed to do. And we're like, we're going to get to heaven, and the Lord's going to be like, listen, you guys clearly just ate something wrong that night. That was not agreeing with you, because you did not hear from me. But I mean, kind of is what it is.
But that's why we like to do the 21 days of prayer. And that's, you know, sort of the whole introduction part is like, the heart behind it is that we like to do it whenever we're in a transition phase, or when we're starting something new, just to get some extra, you know, confirmation of the vision that we think we have from the Lord. And so we pray a lot of prayers like, you know, open the doors if this is what we're supposed to be, or close them if this is not what we're supposed to do, to be doing. And so we discovered that when way back in the day, when we started going to Church of the Highlands in Birmingham, Alabama. And we always loved this, you know, they do a 21 days of prayer twice a year. And so we experienced that for the first time, and we're like, wow, this is really cool. And it was always a really great story what Pastor Chris would tell of when they started the church. They actually did the 21 days of prayer to just launch,
build a foundation,
launch the church from. So, you know, we we had experienced a few of those 21 days of prayer, and we had experienced a major failure in our life at that time. We had, well, you tell it.
Yeah, we had a scrapbook store that was so cute in Birmingham, and we had the location, and it was thriving. I mean, this was like back in the mid 2000s, early 2000s, and I mean, it was a cute scrapbook store, y'all. And everybody that would come in would be like, "Oh my gosh, you need to open up one in this other city." And long story short, we decided to open up a second location, and so many people advised us against it. So many people, our family, financial people actually in the industry was like, probably not smart. And we're like, "You're such a dream crusher. Oh my gosh." And our priorities were way out of line.
Yeah.
Long story short, we end up losing everything. We lose our house, we lose our car, lose a lot of pride. And I like to deem it the very worst year of our life. We learned so much from it.
Yeah, so this is a tip. It's not even part of the 21. Like, find some wise counsel when you're thinking about having a good idea to do something new, and listen to the wise counsel. I mean, and like she said, we weren't doing that, and I was joking earlier. I was telling her, like, these 21 things that we're going to topics that we're going to talk about, we were like basically doing the opposite of all these, and that's why it was such a spectacular failure.
Yeah. I wouldn't go back and redo it. It was super hard and it was super tough, but man, we learned so much from it. And so that's kind of where the heart of 21 Days of Prayer book study was written. In the business that we were in, we would walk people through 21 days because it was so important in our own lives. And so we would walk people through it. And then eventually I started doing some little videos, and then it turned into a book study. And so, for me, again, I feel like we've already said this, but we are excited to walk through this with you in this season of our life, because I feel like we're at a place that usually when people go through, sadly, when people go to the Lord, it's usually when they're unsure, which is great. You should be doing that. But when we're on the mountaintop and everything's kind of like peachy keen and rainbows and unicorns, we don't feel like maybe we have to go to Him as often, which kind of is sad. And maybe I'm the only one. Maybe that's just me. But it's a lot easier to feel like you're having to hold on to that lifeline and go, "Oh my word, Lord," And so.
But one's not better than the other. It's just seasons.
No, it's seasons. It's seasons.
And when you're in that season, I remember praying, "Lord, help me, don't screw this up." So that was a lot of the prayers.
Yes.
When you're up on the mountaintop.
100%. So we're just excited to be walking through this at a different place, because we feel like maybe it'll be a little bit more relatable.
Yeah.
Like people can be like, "Oh," because when we wrote the book, we would tell a lot of stories of walking through times that were hard and seasons that were hard, but it's like when you write about it, you were in a different place. You were on the flip side where you were safe and everything felt okay. So it was much easier to talk about those hard seasons. And I feel like we're just like kind of coming right out of some really difficult things, and the emotions are still really raw and real. Even in the first video that did go through, I kind of felt myself getting emotional talking about some of it, and we're going to go there. But so that's the heart behind the study of where it came from. And if you've got the book, that's what we talk about in the intro. If you don't have the book, that's what we talk about in the intro of kind of where it got started. And we think it's super important to build that foundation on Jesus. I don't think you can ever go wrong when you're connecting with Him. Do you have anything you want to add to that part of it? Okay, so let's just kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about that seasons, okay? For me personally, we actually began this year about to release a study that was all about transition, and we're actually going to release that, but it's not going to be probably until the end of this year, beginning of next year. I'm super excited about it. And it was like every time I would try like pulling the trigger and finishing it, there was just something that just wasn't, I just didn't feel right with. And I think the longer that we walk with the Lord and the longer that we pursue things, we can feel that kind of where we're trying to push a little bit harder than what we're supposed to. We'll kind of talk about that in the next video of Give God Control. But something huge happened when this past month, I had this shift. And I really honestly think the reason why the study has never fully come together is because I had not like fully walked out what I needed to walk out in what I was even writing about. But I had this huge aha moment this past month as I was writing out a timeline of my life. A timeline of my life. I basically started from when I was born and started writing out these like little periods of time. Like I lived here to here, here to here. We moved to this place. And I kind of started formatting like, I went to college and then I left that college and went to the college where I met Jeremiah, to the school where I met Jeremiah. And then from when we got married to when we had kids. And I started kind of like writing a timeline out. And as I was looking at it, something interesting popped up. Before any major new birth of something, really whether it was us meeting, whether it was the birth of our kids or the scrapbook store or losing the scrapbook store, going into the next adventure, going into the next, before whatever it was that was huge and something monumental, there was always this season of transition that was even a little painful, if I had to be honest with you. But what was around the corner was something really beautiful and something amazing. And when I noticed that and I realized that on the timeline, I feel like this transition season that we've been in, I've been trying to like claw my way out of it, work my way out of it. Really a good lead way too into tomorrow's Give God Control. But like I had to rest and just go, oh my word, it's okay. Lord, I am going to fully embrace this season of transition, and I need you just to teach me whatever you need to teach me. Grow me however you need to grow me, because when I could look back at the previous seasons, I could see how he was stretching me and growing me for what this next thing that was going to be given to me. I mean, I think with us, like, the season before I met Jeremiah, like I had dated a guy for a while, knew I really wasn't supposed to marry him. I'd break up, blah, 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 back and forth, and then finally moved away. But I mean, it was like having to go through that little bit of yuck. At the time, it's like devastating to you, like it's your world. And now I look back and go, wow, that, problems have gotten a lot harder than that. But at the time, it was just this huge thing. But then that's when I met Jeremiah. And so the same thing with our scrapbook store, losing everything, and the lessons that we learned through that was literally preparing us. And I feel like that's where we're at now. There's so many life lessons and so many things that we've taken away. And just like we talk about the scrapbook store, losing it was like the best, worst year of our life. This, I can really say the same. This has really been one of the best, worst years. And, in the moment, you feel like it's never ending, but like, man, the Lord has taught us so much, and I'm really thankful for it. And so that's kind of that's just where we're at. And so I want to give you some homework. Can an intro have homework? I think so. I want you to find a notebook. Find your favorite notebook. Go get a brand new fresh notebook and one of your favorite pens, because it's important. Notebooks are important.
She loves some notebooks.
I love me some notebooks. I want you to find a notebook and I want you to vote. If you've got the book, write out your answers in the book. Again, now this is not in the intro. So you're going to have to write this out on a piece of paper. And if you've got the book, stick it in your book. But I want you to write out a timeline of your life. I want you to write out a timeline, and I want you to be able to sit and look at it. What are some things that are monumental? And maybe the timeline doesn't look like what I just explained, but I want you to kind of evaluate and look at your life. And then I want you to discuss, I want you to write out what season of your life, what it looks like right now. For us, I would say, if I had to answer that question, I would say, well, I think we're on the tail end. I mean, we're on the tail end of this transition. We're actually posting a video on YouTube. That's what we want to do. We want to share videos on YouTube about life, about faith, about family, about travel. YouTubers will be like, you need to pick is it niche or niche? Niche. You need to pick a niche. You need to stick with it. You don't need to bounce around. But like literally, we just want to talk about life. And so this season that we're in, we're kind of transitioning into that. But our life actually looks super different. I'm talking a lot. I know.
No, I like it.
Yeah, but
So you told the homework, right?
Yeah.
So,
What season are you in? Timeline of your life.
so, like we mentioned, if you want the book, we'll drop a link in the description.
Yeah.
If you want to take it for a test drive and just download the whole first chapter and the intro for free,
Yes.
we'll drop a link in the description for that as well.
Yes.
And this is my first video. She's done like one gazillion videos, but I never really have done one with her like this.
Do you watch the videos?
Your videos?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Any of them. You're busted.
I watch them with not the sound on. But I don't, everyone's I watch like that. Anyway, so since this is my first video, if you liked it, or if you didn't hate it, give us a big thumbs up.
Yes, because that's what YouTubers say.
Also, you can subscribe to our channel, which will really help our channel. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in the know when we post a video, hit that notification bell and you'll get notified.
Yeah.
I love when I get a notification of one of the channels that I follow
Yeah.
new video. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
new video to watch.
Seriously though, like this is something that is super exciting for us and super, I would say it's super important. Like we're really excited about it. And we kind of just gotten into the whole YouTube world. I know YouTube world's been around forever, but like we've been following some people that we've really been enjoying, like following their story or their journey or whatever. And we're just excited to kind of dive into this, to put some things that's near and dear to our heart, things that's important to us. We want to, like I said, talk about faith, talk about family, talk about travels, talk about all the things. And so we would love for you to subscribe. We would love for you to be a part of it. And before we sign off, I want to say one more thing. With your homework, drop if you feel comfortable. It's okay if you don't, but we would love for you to even share in the comments what season you're in, or is anything stand out to you when you were journaling about the timeline. In the other videos and the other things that we did, we had these Facebook groups and we had all this stuff and it was a community, and we're not doing that this go around. But I feel like in the comments, we can have that sense of community to where we are hearing from you. We don't want it just to be us here running our mouths. We really do hope that this is a place that becomes like a home to you, because I do feel like the people that we watch and the stuff that we do, they've kind of felt like family to us.
Yeah.
And so we want that to be a place for you. So we would love for you to subscribe and stick around. So that was today's video. Please do the homework. If I could, I'd get on my hands and knees and beg. And the next video is going to be all about giving God control. Insert dramatic music. All right.
Bye.
See ya.